Welcome back everyone to another really cool tutorial. This one I actually do enjoy, even though my students tend to fear this unit a lot. They get scared when I tell them what they're going to be doing. And for this tutorial, we're going to be talking about contour line. And not just contour line, but continuous contour line drawing. So contour is not finding the outline to something. So if I put my hand on the paper, this is an outline. This is nothing but that hand turkey that we all did in first grade to create a turkey out of it. That's an outline. We're not doing that. Contour line is finding edges to things. So when I look at my hand, for example, because we're going to be drawing our hands today. When I look at my hand, I notice that there are lines here, but they're not really lines. We don't have lines in our three-dimensional world. Doesn't have lines. What we have are edges to things. Everything is a three-dimensional object. So if you look at this as an edge, not a line, you'll see that what I'm looking at is a change in value. So I'm going from the light and midtones of my skin here, and then when it changes to the crease and wrinkle of my hand, that crease and wrinkle changes in value, gets darker, and then the value immediately next to that is also kind of in shadow. It's not as bright in value as this over here. So that's what we mean by finding our edges. Now this is where my students start to sweat. They get scared. They want to use a pencil. Can we use a pencil? Because in their head, a pencil still means I can erase. And yes, for the first couple of ones, just to get their feet wet, I usually do let them use their pencil, but they're not allowed to erase. That is the compromise. But for this tutorial, I'm not going to be using pencil, and I advise you to take a step forward, take a risk, and we're going to be doing something called continuous contour line drawing. That means that we're going to observe our object. Our object today is going to be our hand, our non-dominant hand, the one that you don't draw with. Don't get scared. So when you start to look at your edges, edges mean wrinkles, nails, shapes that you see that are created by value changes. All of that is going to be drawn onto the drawing surface. Continuous contour line means you cannot lift. You can't lift your drawing utensil off the paper. So what this trains you to do, it's not a torture device. What this actually trains you to do is to make your eyes observe the object closely. You want to spend about 90% of your drawing time actually looking at the object, not the paper. There is actually another step above continuous contour line drawing, which is continuous blind contour drawing, which is even scarier for a lot of people because you cannot see your drawing surface. You can only see your object and you're drawing blindly. Those come out really interesting. This is the reason why a lot of my students hate this, because it's not a pretty drawing. They want their drawings to be perfect, they want their drawings to look really cool, and that never happens with contour, because contour line drawing is specifically to train your eyes and your hands to work together, to work in a coordinated effort to get an image onto the paper. So without further ado, you can use an ultra fine point Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie, a ballpoint pen. If you have your multi-liners, I would probably not use a 0.5. I would probably use like a 5 or an 8 if you have it, if you're going to do a multi-liner. Or you can just use a regular marker, like a Crayola marker, fine point, regular point, I don't care, as long as it's not pencil. I don't want you to get into that safe spot, oh, a pencil, I can erase it. I don't want you to erase. So I'm not going to erase either. So if I make a mistake, you know, I'm like all Bob Ross in it. You know, it's a happy accident. I'm just going to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my regular fine point Sharpie. Get comfortable. You know, put your hand in a pose that you can hold for a while. So I'm going to try to make everything fit in the screen so that you can see what I'm doing. You want to start from a point of reference where you feel comfortable. That's different for everybody. I'm not going to even try to tell you where to start. You start where you feel comfortable. So for me, I'm going to start right around the wrist. So I'm going to go kind of slow because I want to make sure that I gather as much information as I move my hand. So if I stop talking, it's because I'm trying to concentrate. Now if I have to go back, I just go right over where I came from. I stop, I don't lift up my marker or my pen. This is continuous contour line drawing. So at any point in time, if you feel like you need to rest, just leave the point where it is. Rest your fingers, rest your hands, and then when you're ready to keep going, you keep going. So right here is where I start to see the wrinkles in my first set of knuckles on the thumb. Again, this may not come out great, and I'm okay with that. You have to be okay with that too. This is my nail. I'm gonna go right over what I already drew so that I don't have to lift it up for anything. So right now I'm doing my thumb. Here's that first crease. Keep yourself comfortable. This is the most important thing. That's the big one, and then right here there's a little bit of darkness in those values, so I'm just going to make sure I go over it a couple times to show that that is in fact a darker value than what I had before. So right over here is another wrinkle. There's another wrinkle that goes kind of up here. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to miscalculate, I should say. Not make a mistake. There's no mistake here. Don't want to miscalculate. So I'm on that index finger. There's a little crease there, and then this is the finger itself. Now some people say, how do I get to the nail? Well, just draw a little line. It may not be there, but that is the easiest way to get to it. So this is where things start to get a little hairy. You gotta be slow down when you have to. Take stock of what you're doing. This is in no way supposed to be a speed drawing. You want to make sure that you're getting everything in the right place that it should be. Okay. I have a little bit there. Wrinkles, and then this ring finger comes a little bit lower. Now you can't see my eyes, but take my word for it, when I'm doing this, my eyes are constantly switching from the paper to my hand. I can't just look at my hand once and be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And that's what a lot of my students make, that mistake. And I want to make sure you don't make that mistake. Don't draw anything that your eyes have not seen. Don't make things up. Okay, I'm gonna go back. And I don't know if anyone's been taking notes here, but I don't think you've seen me lift up my fingers, my hands at all from what I'm drawing. This is that wrinkle on the outside. Okay, let me connect that edge. All right, so this is what we consider a contour line drawing. I have no idea how long that took. That's probably like either a 5 or a 7 minute whereabouts. But this is what a continuous contour line drawing looks like. In the next videos that you see about contour, we're going to be exploring blind contour. We're also going to be exploring something called cross contour, which is really interesting. Not a lot of teachers go over cross contour in class, but I will be doing it here on these videos for you. So if you like what you saw today, click the like button, the subscribe button, comment down below, let me know what you like, what you didn't like. If you've tried this before, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, I want to hear it all. And until next time, keep drawing, keep practicing, and it gets better with time.